Hey there, everybody. This is Silk. We're doing a Operation A View to a Kill. This is my recap video for turn 6. This one's going to be totally different than all the others, so we'll just jump into it here. So nothing happened in turn 6 of any really merit-worthy discussion. Nothing happened in Spain. Nothing happened in China. Everybody just kind of shuffled some units around. There's no combats that mattered. There's almost no non-combats that mattered. There's only one element that Russia did that it all surprised me in any way, shape, or form. So I'll discuss that real briefly. You can see it way over here. The Soviets pulled units away from Valpuri, and that I did not anticipate. Normally, he'd want to go into Valpuri on turn 6 with the MR Pact signed, the Ribbentrop Pact, which we know they did sign. So, he took the other actions. He took out Latvia, took out Belarusia, right? Bessarabia, sorry. Took out Bessarabia, took out Lithuania. And for some reason, did not go into Valpuri. That kind of caught my attention as an oddity. Generally, you want to help Valpuri on 6 just to get it out of the way. It does, however, create some recruitment roles. So maybe that's what he's not wanting to deal with. He may want to try to do like a decapitation strike or something to get Helsinki. You don't actually have to kill all of Finland. You really just have to take Helsinki. So maybe a whole different plan here. But he didn't buy a transport, didn't buy a marine, or do an extra airborne and transport, so you can drop 2 airborne in. So yeah, just a little surprised by that. That's about it. Really the only move on turn 6 that I thought really warranted any discussion. So keep an eye on that and figure out what the Soviets are up to. What I really want to talk about, since we kind of got a window here, is how to look at what your opponent is doing and project forward from that. And in particular, I'm going to use myself and Panzer J as the examples, just because of kind of the unique circumstances that this game is. So one of the sort of elements that happens when you're playing with the same group kind of again and again is that you start to learn each other's sort of nuances, play styles, preferences, those sorts of things, their risk reward tolerance, all that kind of stuff. And secondly, as you are both opponents and partners, depending on the game as you rotate around, you also get some real keen insights into how they play. So, and this game is just the absolute perfect example. I grabbed Commonwealth with the first pick in our pick selections, and Panzer J with pick 2, thought about it for a bit, and he went ahead and grabbed Germany, which he loves Germany. I love Commonwealth. Like, it's kind of both of us picking nations that we really enjoy playing. But the odd part is that he and I were partners the previous game as the Allies. So he already has a pretty good feel for what I like to do with the Allies and the Commonwealth in specific kind of stuff. So he has a lot of insights into what I like to do. And then, oddly enough, you have to go further back. But in my benefit, he and I were partners way back in Thunderball when he played Germany and I played Japan. So I've got a pretty good feel for what he likes to do with Germany. So I know that, he knows that, and here we are both now really the primary, at least pre-war, competitors. Generally, it's Germany and Commonwealth who lock horns for the first, 7, 8, 9 violent turns, and then things shift around as Japan jumps in, Russia jumps in, it becomes America eventually. It becomes a multi-pronged conflict. But the first, the first stage, as it were, is all really Axis versus Commonwealth. Either Germany by themselves or Germany and Italy, depending on if Italy comes into play. And so a lot of what happened, I think, is by Germany, Italy, Commonwealth, France, is that dynamic. And I'm going to point out a couple of real specific things for you guys and kind of give you a feel for what might be going on instead. So as we look over here at our build chart, and I leave these in their neutral blue just because I use them for everybody, because who gets escort carriers is so wild. At some point I may paint them to be faction specific, but these are both Italian as far as I'm concerned. Then he's got the battleship and the cruiser. And the fun part here is, this one's 6, but these with improved construction, which he's running improved construction and he's running heavy ships. This is a single turn. It's 4-3-3 if he has improved construction. And then obviously this one is either 6 or 5. Decent chance he just finishes this one this turn just to get the darn thing on the board. But he's kind of saving this, I think, as a single one-turn purchase once he has construction. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds, effectively, for naval combat. It's really easy for Germany to lend lease planes to Italy. It's a pretty common choice they do almost every time. As soon as Italy goes to war, Germany will instantly send them a plane of some sort just to give them more punching power. And in 4.1, you can lend lease income, cash, to pay for a stage 1 ship. So, again, Italy with improved construction at that point, $6 buys a destroyer, $8 buys a light cruiser, So real easy to kind of shift money from Germany to Italy that way. And in that process, he knows I do this. I build giant fleets and bully people with them. And I think he's very deliberately implicating that he's going to build up the Italian fleet. And while it may not get to parity, it just needs to get enough that I have to deal with it. That it either freezes me in place or he's going to really punish me if I leave and go to the Indian Ocean. Just kind of a bravo, kind of shout out to Panzer J here. I think it's a really neat, kind of innovative approach to Italy. He'll, again, have all the advantages of he only goes to war when he sees an opportunity that it's worth it for him to go to war, and such. At the same time, you can kind of see my counterplay against him with these 3 fighters that France, or 2 fighters really, plus the one that they started with, that I put in map in A23. He loves his fighters. He loves his airborne, and there's a point where he really kind of gets a multidisciplinary threat via airdrops and his Air Force. He'll build jets. He'll build fighters, tacticals, medium bombers, and really kind of swarm you and really put a lot of pressure on England when their money's low and America's not in war and whatnot. And my solution to that was this 3-fighter France. On the downside, it meant that France was going to be vulnerable to his ground forces. And I'm kind of, as poor GWE commented on, I'm kind of passing off that problem onto the Soviets. That the Germans are going to take France and are not going to lose a terrible amount. Like, they'll lose, hopefully, 5-6 units, something in that neighborhood. But not a lot. They're not going to lose 10. It's just not this bill's just not going to do that. I've done a max defense France before. It is very effective. I've been able to build it so that they don't even attack on turn 7. That it's too scary. They have to wait a turn on turn 8, or they flip. They attack on turn 6, but don't actually strike Paris yet. And they take Paris on turn 7 after they've taken Switzerland and Belgium. Which, if they take Switzerland and Belgium, there's no defense for France. It's just impossible. So, but you get other things out of it by forcing a turn 6 declaration from Germany. So it's not necessarily a bad thing either. So that was kind of what I paid for the weaker France, but in the process I get these 3 fighters, which Germany is turn isn't processing. I have every reason to believe that Paris fell. You guys might even already seen it by now, but I doubt he's done anything to those fighters. He would have to do a whole lot of stuff to even get there, and you would just get shot down. So those planes are going to survive. They're going to get to land in Southern Europe or Southern England, and that's going to kind of give me a defensive force that's going to kind of blunt the initial things he wants to do with an Air Force and airborne units. And so that's a little bit of what I'm paying to kind of counter his proclivities. So you can kind of simultaneously see that Panzer J with his Italian moves is messing with my normal Commonwealth desires, and I'm kind of using France to counter his, and it's going to force both of us to kind of get a little bit out of our comfort zone and try some new things, which is going to be fantastic. I absolutely love it. As soon as I saw Panzer J grab Germany, I knew this was going to be real interesting. We'd butt heads right away. And given how well we've worked together, suddenly working against each other, I just knew would be fun. So that's probably it. I may do a more in-depth thing on France Turn 7 recap. Maybe. We'll see how much else happens. If Turn 7 is just France falling, I may have time to go ahead and do that in the recap then. Just kind of discuss French strategies and why this France is what it was. That's about it. Just kind of wanted to give you guys a bit of a insight to look at what players do and what you can learn from that going forward, kind of projecting, 2-3 turns in advance. And once you can do that, you'll just play better. You'll have a better success once you can kind of see what indicators they give you. So that was why I wanted to kind of shout that out. So if anybody has any questions, just go ahead and post them. I'll do what I can. But likely see you guys probably later tonight for Commonwealth 7. We'll see. I'm guessing Germany's getting uploaded. It's a long turn. It's going to take a long time for that to upload just because of YouTube reality. And then if Soviets and Japan can go back to back, I'll get Commonwealth out tonight. Otherwise, you'll probably see Commonwealth tomorrow morning. So that's all I got. Everybody take care and have a great day.